Hi, everybody. I just sold a bunch of my Grails. Am I crazy? Am I giving up? Let's talk about it. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I just sold a bunch of my Grails. Why did I do that? Maybe that was not so smart. Let's talk about it today. First, a couple housekeeping things, and then let's jump into it. So, as you may or may not have noticed, and if you followed this channel, I have moved to basically one video a week. That's what works for me with my schedule right now. It's been kind of hectic with work and other stuff. But also, I think my videos, in terms of the quality, is higher than me just kind of throwing out videos as fast as I can. That's not helpful for anybody. Anyways, the other thing that I would note this week, which was, I think, incredibly significant, is the Tarzan Drop. It's the first comic that we have that is not a Marvel comic. It shows that they do have other relationships with other comic book publishers. We want to see others, maybe some of these big independent ones like Image or IDW or maybe Boom Studios. Those particular comic book publishers have, really spectacular comics. But it helps the Veve brand and establishes that they are the go-to for really any of these digital NFT comics. We all believe these are going to be highly collectible in the future. This space is still evolving, but as we see them accumulate other publishers, I think it just solidifies the Veve brand as this is the number one place for comics, and that makes me excited. Okay, so let's get right into why did I sell these particular Grails and really a bunch of stuff this week. And it came down to a number of things. I actually wrote things down and then made a decision on it because there are risks. Whenever you sell things, you're afraid that the market is going to, run away from you. And then you're kind of, to a certain degree, selling at the bottom, which is not fun. And maybe we'll look back at this video and you'll laugh at me and say, wow, this guy was an idiot. Very possible. We'll see. So there's, as you know, over the last couple of months, the Veve market's been sliding, and it's maybe some of Veve, but maybe it just has to do with things that are happening in the world. Obviously, there's events that are happening in Eastern Europe. There's things happening here in the United States, and so all of these things have affected the market. And so I don't necessarily think it's Veve, but you just have to look at the prices. So I decided that additionally, I think there are two other factors that went into it. So number one is I felt like I wanted to, generally, and you've heard me talk about this on this particular channel, is you want to not completely blow out all your gems. So for me, that has meant I have around 300, maybe to 500 gems to play with. That allows me to get drops, maybe make some moves. But I felt like with these low prices, I actually wanted to be able to make more moves. And there's so many great things and opportunities that are appearing that I felt like I saw and I didn't have the gems to go after. So let's talk about that. So really, I am selling some of these Grails to get liquidity, to get gems, and that in the long run, I feel like I'll be able to go back and grab some of these things. Perhaps they'll be a little bit lower, maybe MTL. We don't know what's going to happen with that MTL as in cash out. Maybe that will cause some of the prices to dip too, and I can go back and grab some of these things. I do intend to grab some of these things. Other ones, I don't know if they're going to recover, right? So, because gems will go elsewhere, there's new drops all the time. Vader was super exciting. And so perhaps some of these won't recover. So I decided I'd sell some, get some liquidity, allow me to take some and make some other moves. That was my biggest decision. So what could those moves be? Okay, so first of all, and you've heard this a lot, and I actively, attempt to do some of this, but really it's not much. And that is buy the floor. You hear about this. Whales will go in and buy the floor of a particular collectible. They either believe in it, they want to move the price, a variety of reasons. And I don't have the liquidity to do that. And so now by selling a bunch of the stuff, I have a bunch of gems. And I certainly couldn't go in and buy the floor of Todd's or anything crazy like that. But some of these comics that I talk about on this channel, like Vengeance 1, like NYX3, Daredevil 1, some of these other ones are low enough now that I could go in and buy a bunch of them. I really believe in those comics. And you've heard me say again and again, I think a lot of those, especially those commons, eventually, in my mind, will be over 100 gems, etc. So could I make a move and try to, get a bunch of those, yeah, I'm interested in that. I haven't decided on that, but maybe I could do that, and that would allow me to do that. A second thing that I do see every now and then, which I don't have the gem to do, is someone will drop, not on the floor, but close to it, an incredibly low mint. And that is interesting for me, especially from a comic perspective, or a special mint. Maybe it's the date that the comic was published. And I don't have the gems to go after that. And so I thought by freeing up some of these gems, I could go after some of those opportunities, grab some of those collectibles that I really want. And so that's exciting too. Another one of the things I thought about just in general is you see deals for some of these big time grails. So the two biggest grails, and you can go to Veve Rank, my website, that I have are ASM 252. That's Amazing Spider-Man 252, the first appearance of the black suit. And, of course, Marvel Comics 1. So I didn't own an ASM 252, and one dropped very, very low, and I was able to grab that with some of the gems that I got just in the last couple days. I initially thought about flipping it, but I think I might keep it for now. We'll see what happens. But fun to have that comic. As you know, there's only 1,000 of those total, and the commons it's very, very hard. And once you get into the ultra rares or secret rares, super expensive comic, very, very scarce. So that interests me. Another one that, of course, I've been talking about on this channel that I would like to get is the Marvel Comics 1 Secret Rare. I do own some of the commons and uncommons. The Secret Rare, obviously, is very expensive. Trading, sometimes generally for 30K gems, it's kind of fallen now. And if I felt like someone dropped it really low, maybe if I could get a bunch of gems, maybe I could get a shot at that. That's one particular comic I felt like I'd never be able to get. So maybe now with everything, maybe there's a chance that I could grab that one. Don't tell anybody. Hopefully they'll drop it and I can buy it. We'll see. And then the other aspect of it is, I think, just understanding I hadn't really sold a lot of stuff. So understanding, when you put things on the floor, when do they sell? How do they sell? Just understanding that and experiencing that has been interesting. Because things that you put on the floor, are you playing the game with the mints? And that in itself, I think I learned a lot, and am learning a lot as I sell some of these different comics and collectibles. So that, I think, has been an educational experience for me. And I think if you are selling things, you want to be, not an expert, but you definitely want to have experience with that, especially when you're selling things that are relatively expensive. So then the other thing I do want to say is the risk, and I talked about that a little bit in the beginning, which is, what happens, and I think we know this, that in this world, it can be very explosive in terms of the growth. And so, as people had said, we're one celebrity away from doing a tweet on something. We could pull in a lot of different users, and they're going to come in and gobble up a bunch of stuff. And so perhaps I would miss out on, owning some of these grails. So that risk at this point, I guess I'm willing to take. We'll see what happens, but I definitely plan on buying back some of these grails, just because I really, really like them. But at this point, for example, I sold like my secret rare Strange Tales 110, which was Doctor Strange, which was a fun one to own. And yet I moved into more of the uncommons. I like a lot of the uncommon comics because there's generally a 4-to-1 ratio. In other words, there's generally 21,000 commons and 5,000 uncommons. And so I bought some of the uncommons. They're priced really low right now. Just trying to maneuver a little bit, depending on, just changing my portfolio a little bit. And as you know, I talk about trying to double up. So I was thinking, under this market, could that secret rare Strange double? Yeah, it certainly could if we get a bunch of people in. But I was thinking, I thought perhaps the uncommon and common might have a better chance of doubling eventually or faster than this secret rare. So trying to maneuver a little bit, wanted to tell you my thoughts, definitely not bailing. I've got a lot of DMs and people, tweeting me, have you given up on Veve? Haven't given up on Veve. Definitely think that it is experiencing some of the growing pains of any company. It grew so fast, obviously. It's continuing to push. And let me just add this other thing, which is more of a bullish thing, is, I'm really big on Bravos Assassins. He monitors the wallets. And if you look at that, the amount of wallets the amount of collectibles with wallets is going up. So if people were bailing, we would see the reverse, right? We'd see all these wallets that had 100 collectibles suddenly have 50 collectibles or something like that. That's not what we're seeing at all. We're seeing thousands more per month. Now, maybe you want tens of thousands more per month, but either way, it's growing, and so that is always bullish in my opinion. So that's what I got for you this week. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to y'all soon.